Bonjour everyone and welcome back to the Waves of Your Soul. I am your humble French tarot reader slash deck goblin marine, and today I'm super excited to be doing a video about my most beautiful tarot deck, the 2024 edition. This is a video I had done about 3 years ago now. I think 3-4 years, I don't even know anymore what is time, right? But it's been a while and I thought it could be fun to revisit this as I have some new decks that have entered my collection since. Some of these decks are gonna be the same as my previous video because I still believe that they're definitely beautiful decks. Some of them are gonna be new ones. I haven't given really myself a limit. I kind of just went into my tarot shell and grabbed the one that made me feel like when I open the deck, the first thing I think of is wow. All of these really give me that initial wow effect every time I open the box, every time I flip through them, every time I read with them. My first thought is, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous, this is so beautiful, I feel so grateful that this exists in the world. The world right now feels like a trash can on fire, which has pretty much been the case for the last 4 years, hasn't it? I feel like there's a lot of like kind of energy building up, you know. I feel like Godzilla a little bit inside, and I thought it's either I'm punching my pillow or I try and channel that energy into making a fun video for you guys. So we're gonna go with that because my pillows don't deserve to be punched, really. If you're new here, I want to say a huge welcome. It's so nice to have you on my channel. I talk about tarot and oracle decks a lot. They're a huge passion of mine, and I also love to read the cards. So if you want to see any more of that, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoy this video, then don't hesitate to give the video a thumbs up. You can leave a comment, share with your friends. All of those things are free. They don't take long, but they really help my channel. And in the description box, I'm gonna make sure to put all the names of the decks I'm mentioning today. I will also put my previous most beautiful decks as well as my other social media links. If you want to hang out, I mostly hang out on Instagram and YouTube at the moment. Just to let you know, I will start with out of print decks and I'll move on to decks that are still available. I wanted to make a separate category for out of print decks because I know some people don't like to see them, and some people like me who are tarot lovers through and through enjoy seeing out of print decks. Even if they're no longer in print, we still enjoy seeing the art, enjoying the beauty of it. And because this video is very much about beautiful tarot decks, I really wanted to showcase some beautiful decks, whether they're out of print or not. So I'm gonna start with them as a separate category, so if you don't want to see that, you can jump ahead to the next chapter. And before I get into it, obviously I just want to say that beauty is very biased, right? We always say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so obviously this is a very personal video. Some of the decks I find beautiful you might find very ugly, and vice versa, and that's completely fine. And of course, just because a deck could seem beautiful does not mean that it reads better or worse than another deck. Here we're purely talking aesthetic value, personal taste, so it doesn't really resonate or impact really the readings that I have with this deck. Here we're really doing very superficial kind of video, but you know what, I really needed that at this moment in time. I wanted to look at pretty things, so that's what we're gonna be doing today. Without further ado, let's get into the most beautiful tarot decks in my collection, the 2024 edition. Okay, let's start as promised with the out of print decks, just so that they are in a separate category. So for the people who don't want to see them, they don't have to see them. But for those of you guys who, like me, are very dedicated tarot lovers, if you are art lovers, if you enjoy tarot for the work of artists, of passionate, and this is going to be the category for you. So I want to start with a deck that is very, very special. For me, one of the most beautiful decks I own, hands down, and it is the Taro As Colour by Cocoon. This is a deck that I believe is now out of print. It was very, very limited release when it came out, and I got my hand on this I think a year ago, maybe 2 by now. So the cards are huge, don't get fooled by my hands. I have huge orc hands, I always say on my channel. I don't have dainty princess hands. Cards are very big, there's something to be aware of, and here are the backs. And this is a very special deck because like I said, it follows the work of Cocoon, which are originally from an exhibition she did on tarot, inspired by tarot, I believe in 1977 or 75, I can't remember, but it was the 70s, part of an exhibition, and then it was turned into tarot. just absolutely stunning, and as you can see, they are very unique, abstract yet intuitive use of tarot because created with inks, I believe, and it's just very intuitive, very potent kind of work. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful deck I own. I mean, look at the Lovers. The Lovers kind of looks like a devil, and I'm so here for that because for me the Lovers and the Devils are twins, right? Very intuitive, a very deep, a very precious kind of deck. Not only is it beautiful aesthetically, for me anyway, I find these images so stunning, it's also a very intuitive and profound kind of deck. One that every time I pull from, I find very helpful for meditation, for pathworking, for just tapping into the core essence of the cards. And yeah, there don't have anything like this. It's really special, and that it makes me think of looking at the ocean, like potentially North Arctic Ocean, and maybe even the lagoon, you know, those like satellite pictures from Earth. It's just, there's something really magical and profound about this. Suits are color coded, as you can see. It's just absolutely stunning. Titles from the Golden Dawn at the bottom of all of the cards. It's a very esoteric yet intuitive deck, and yeah, one of the most beautiful decks in my collection. I keep it in order because I'm that precious about it. I don't really keep most of my decks in order, minus a very few exceptions that for me feel like they deserve that reverence, if I can say that, and this is one of them. I mean, look at those court cards, absolutely stunning. Out of print category, still absolutely stunning deck. We have to talk about the Majestic Earth Tarot. This is by J.D. Hildegard Hinkle. Love a good art kind of deck. I mean, any deck that reuses classical artwork feels very beautiful to me, but I think this one is my favorite because it's mostly landscapes, and I absolutely love the idea of having less people and more nature. So here are the backs. So the box opens like this. One of those, it comes with a extra card, it comes with a guidebook. Here are the backs, very beautiful. One of my favorite backings ever. I think there's something very beautiful and classic about this. Of the artwork, all of the cards represent landscapes using pre-existing classical art. All the names of the paintings are referred in the guidebook. Suits have been renamed, and the court cards have been renamed, and the majors have been renamed. So there's a lot of renaming in this deck. Normally is not my cup of tea. However, I've used this deck so much that I'm quite familiar with it now. It doesn't bother me as much as it might with another deck. I think because the artwork is so beautiful, I can get over the renaming, whereas normally it's something that really puts me off, especially for the court cards. I tend to run in the other direction when court cards are renamed because just my brain can't cope. I can't make sense of it, and it gets in the way of my reading. This is somehow one of the few exceptions that makes a rule. I think it's because I'm so in love with the artwork that I can forgive the renaming. There's something, again, very meditative about this one. It's not one I would pull for like day-to-day readings or anything like that, but one more so that I tend to use for spiritual readings, for when I want to connect to the divine source, spirit, the universe, God, whatever you guys call it. This idea of tapping into something larger than yourself, that is what I use this for. There's something that feels very connected and aligned when I use this deck. Absolutely gorgeous, and sadly another one that's out of print, but that is really beautiful. I think the images that were chosen for each of the cards, for me, they all make sense, and it's a joy every time I use it. And every time I use it, my first thought is, wow, this is truly beautiful. Let's continue in the out of print category. Still, we have obviously the Victorian Romantic Tarot. I know this is a beloved deck by a lot of people, and a lot of people find this deck very beautiful, and I cannot deny that I find this very beautiful as well. So currently this is out of print. I don't know if they're gonna bring it back. This was the edition that they released, I think, last year, so I don't know if it's actually ever gonna be reprinted or not. I don't know if you can still get this on some tarot website, I'm not sure. Here are what the backs looks like, and again, this is one that is giving very much this classical art style feel. This is one that has what they call the gold, I think they call it cold stamping, cold stamping, I don't know. I am definitely not a cardstock snob. I don't really care about cardstock and production. That's not really something I pay too much attention to. I'm definitely here for artwork. I'm a lover of art, of artwork, but I don't pay too much attention to cardstock and production things like that, gold stamping or something on the cards, which for this one is absolutely stunning. We also have the Bohemian Gothic, the latest edition they did of that deck, and on the Bohemian Gothic, I think the gold stamping really ruins the deck, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I hate it on that deck. It makes it impossible to see anything, but on this one it's done perfect. It really doesn't stop you from seeing the details. It adds to the beauty of the card. Oh yeah, there's something that happened between this one and the Bohemian Gothic where suddenly, for me anyway, again personal taste, the gold stamping got out of hand, but on this one it's truly gorgeous. And I find this deck extremely beautiful. It's another one that every time I use it, I feel very enchanted. And every time I use it, my first thought is, wow, is this beautiful? This is just stunning. I enjoy using not just actually for romantic readings, even though this is what originally it's kind of designed for. I really enjoy using this for really every kind of readings. I enjoy using this for a lot of different themes, not just love readings. This is, I think, my favorite Ten of Swords ever. There is something so beautiful and poetic, I think, about this Ten of Swords. I really love it. Continuing on the out of print category, most beautiful tarot deck. I can't speak about most beautiful tarot deck without speaking about obviously a stunning piece of art that could be in a museum. It's so beautiful in my opinion. That is the Occuli Occultati Tarot. This is an indie deck it was by Scarlet Imprint, and the artist was this person. I won't even try to pronounce their name because we know I'm gonna butcher that. This is a deck I've had since 2020, I think, or maybe 2019, I can't remember. It was printed by Scarlet Imprint, who do really beautiful esoteric books, and they just do gorgeous printing of books on tarot and other occult kind of theming. Here are the backs, stunning backs, I love these, and again, huge cards. Can you see my orc hands next to that? Yeah, this deck is huge. If someone tries to come and steal this from me, they gotta get through the brick first. So beware. This is another one that is in order because this one I use for altar cards mostly. I've read with this and it's really beautiful, but it is a little bit impractical due to the size. However, I could never part with it because I love looking at it and I enjoy looking at the art so much, so I use this as altar cards, like when I want to pull from here the High Priestess energy, when I want to work with Seven of Wands energy, or whatever it may be, I use these cards for my altar, and it's how I found myself being able to enjoy the art the most, right? So this is why right now it's in order. Whenever it's the full moon and the new moon, I will pull the cards that I've pulled and put like 2 to 3 cards on my altar and leave them there, and it brings me so much joy to enjoy this art work. It's just absolutely stunning. Here is the Strength card. I mean, look at this. This is honestly one of the most beautiful decks in my collection. You're gonna hear me say that throughout the video, as this is what this is about, so please don't make this a drinking game by drinking every time I say beautiful, otherwise you're gonna get crunk by the end of the video. But look at this Justice. I love that we have older people in this deck. I love that we have a lot of male figures in this deck. This Death card is probably the most beautiful Death card in any deck I have. There's something so just absolutely profound and stunning about this. This is just, I'm telling you, this deserves to be in a museum. It's powerful, it's unique, it's, yeah, there's nothing like it really. Let's quickly look at the minors. So the majors are black and white, as you can see, and then the minors are colored and they're color coded. In the minors we have a lot more male presenting figures, like I was saying, which is nice. It's something that we don't see, at least I don't see a lot in tarot decks, so I like that. The court cards, my god, another absolutely stunning set of cards. Look at that. We have Page of Wands, we have the Knight of Wands with this bear here. I can't even look at this Queen of Wands with her little kitty here. I can't. I have no words. This does not need my commentary. I'm in awe of this artist. So the cups are blue. I have always told myself I should read with this for you guys, because I've read with it for myself and I always enjoyed it. But I've never read for you guys on my channel with it, and I thought I should. I really should, even if it's I just pull like 2-3 cards and then add another deck with that, because like I said, it's quite huge, not the most practical to shuffle with. But now I'm looking through it, I'm like, This deserves to be shared. I shouldn't keep this for myself. The Knight of Swords has a he's riding a dolphin. This iconic. No note. Freaking love that. Look at the King of Swords. I love the leprechaun-y kind of vibes from the Suit of Pentacles. They have pointy ears, they're very hairy. I don't know, I find them super charming, a bit fae-like. It's truly one you would have to pry out of my dead body before I would ever part with this. Another one I will be taking to my grave, thank you very much, is this one. This is my last out of print deck I wanted to share in this most beautiful tarot video, and oh my god, is it special. This is the Tarot Maçonnique by Jean Bauchard, a truly iconic, beautiful, very, very special deck. It's a deck, this edition is from 1987. Here is what the box looks like. It comes with a guidebook. If you are not familiar with Jean Bauchard, he is our French Robert M. Place. That's the best way I could describe it. As you can see, for this one we have a very thin and longer deck, so really beautiful, and it goes so well with this artwork because this is truly a very special, not only in the sense that it's beautiful, but in the sense that everything about the artwork has been thought through, and everything actually is made with the idea of perfect geometry. So in the guidebook it will tell you how everything is divided, how all the cards are divided in different parts, and yeah, there's a lot of sacred geometry there. There's a lot of important information in the guidebook. And again, one of those very few decks that every time I use, I put it back in order out of like devotion, I would say, or reverence to the deck. And it's kind of silly because I don't do that with any of my other decks, and I definitely read with this one for myself often. Like, it's a deck I really enjoy to read for me. I've never really read with anyone else with this one, I don't think. I can't remember, but I think it's, I mean, for me, it's one I like to go to. Every time I finish using it, I put it back in order. And I never do that with any of my other decks, apart from, like, I was telling you a couple of exceptions, but my really, really special ones, like the decks that feel very, I don't know, precious, not just in the sense of like, oh, this cost a lot of money, but actually precious to my soul, precious because they speak of something sacred, spiritual, in tune and aligned with like my, you know, spirituality and stuff like that. I tend to, yeah, put back in order once I'm finished using with this. And this is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this artwork. It's very, very esoteric. There's so much sacred geometry. There's reference to chakras. There's reference to some Hebrew letters and Kabbalah. There's a lot. There's a lot in this deck. And you could go in a full kind of like study deep dive, but you could also read this as face value and get so much out of this. The energy of this deck, the egregore of it, is very special. You can tell that the creator poured their heart and soul into it. I believe it took them years, if I'm not mistaken, 20 years or 30 years. 20 or 30, yeah, of painting, of studying, of creating, and you feel it. There's certain decks like that I'll share with you another one that feels also similar way, that when someone has spent so long creating a deck and poured their soul into it, the egregore of that deck is truly special. And when you read with that deck, you feel it. You feel like the artist has poured a part of their soul. Quite magical. It's like a Horcrux, but for good. This deck really feels like that. So here are the minors. It's a pip deck. I'll share with you a couple more cards. So for the court cards, they look like this. Jean Bauchard has done another deck called the Alchemical Tarot, or Tarot des Alchimistes, another one that I absolutely love. It's one you can still get on mass market. The Tarot des Alchimistes, his other deck, is still available mass market. I think they might have even done a reprint. It comes with a fantastic guidebook, so if you can't get your handle on this one and you still want to get a piece of Jean Bauchard's art and you enjoy like, the vibe and everything, then definitely check out Le Tarot des Alchimistes. I didn't put it in this category because I didn't want my video to be 5 hours long, although I think at this rate we're gonna be here a while. I had to make a choice, so between the two I chose this one, but I really, really love also his alchemical deck. It's another stunning piece, if I may say so. Okay, so let's move on to the next category of my most beautiful tarot decks. I believe all the ones I'm going to share now still in print at the time of me filming. If some of them are out of print, I'm really sorry. I think though, with the case with some of these is that if they are out of print, it's probably in between prints, because some of these indie decks come in and out. Like if they're running out, usually the artist will order a new batch and put them back on their Etsy shop, things like that. I think mostly at the time of me filming, all of these are still available. Let's start with, for me, the most beautiful Tarot de Marseille in my collection at the time of me filming has to be the François Gasmont Tarot from 1840. This is a deck that is reprinted by Yves Renaud. For my Tarot de Marseille lovers, you will be familiar with this person because they print a lot of those gorgeous older historical Tarot de Marseille. They've got quite a lot on their website. I have a couple from them that I love, but I do think that this is my favorite Tarot de Marseille, and it's mostly because of the colors. So technically, this is actually from a Swiss creator. I guess my fellow French people here are probably appalled that my favorite Tarot de Marseille is not from a French creator. And I really apologize, but this is my favorite right now because of the colors. So here are the backs of the Gasmont Tarot. The gorgeous Tarot de Marseille that for me stands out from the colors that were used at the time, mostly the blues and the greens. Look, the greens on all of the court cards and on all the majors. There's something so charming about this one, and because I'm a huge color lover, I fell in love with this one as soon as I saw it because the colors are really bright, and because of this gorgeous green. I love the devil as well. It looks like he's seen some shit, and I'm like, yeah, I can relate to you. That face, that's the face I'm making every time I watch the news right now. Like, yep, yeah, I feel you. Gorgeous cape on the hermit is so beautiful. I love the facial expression. The Tarot de Marseille, and I know some people say if you've seen one, you've seen them all. I really disagree. For me, they all are unique and special in their own way, and this one truly stands out from, like I was saying, the facial expression, the energy, the colors. I love this emperor. Yeah, it's a gorgeous Tarot de Marseille. I love this one. I wanted to have at least one Tarot de Marseille option out there for you guys, because if you haven't watched my channel before, I'm definitely more of an RWS girly, and a lot of the decks I'm going to share after that are going to be RWS inspired, but although there's a couple of TOS inspired as well, but I wanted to have at least one Tarot de Marseille options for you guys because it's still a system I really enjoy reading with, and I think this one is absolutely my favorite. So beautiful. Let's move on to another vintage deck I wanted to talk about. Here is the Aquarian Tarot, one of the most beautiful decks in my collection, and whilst you will not be able to get this version, which is the original version from 1970, which I still can't believe I have, because this was a gift from the absolutely lovely Vanessa. Vanessa, if you're watching this, I'm sending you so much hugs. I'm just so grateful. This was a lovely gift, and the Aquarian Tarot is one of my favorite tarot decks ever. Able to have the OG 1970 edition still feels just so special. So you won't be able to get this edition, but you can get the Aquarian Tarot very easily still. It's a US games deck, and you can still find it very easily mass market, and for me this is one of the most beautiful decks ever. I love the artwork of David Palladini. There's something very both haunted and yet lively about these faces, and I just find that, yeah, again, another one that for me the egregore of the deck adds to the beauty of it. Like, I find the artwork beautiful, I find the colors very beautiful, I find the choice, the Art Nouveau inspiration. I mean, look at this Lover's card, iconic again. The whole like Art Nouveau inspiration is beautiful. I find the backing beautiful, and the energy of it adds to the beauty because the energy feels so good. The energy feels like, yeah, just it adds to the beauty of it. Another fantastic card. This card is everything. This is an RWS deck. I feel like a lot of you will be familiar with it. It's a deck that originally came out in the 70s, but that is still in print to this day. All the color palette, I love the artwork, I love that there's so much white space. I don't know, there's something very ethereal and airy about this. If I had to give this a star sign, I would say this is a very Aquarius deck. It carries its name really well, but it also gives Gemini vibes as well. It's a deck I like to go to when I am feeling like my mind is all over the place and I need to find clarity, because all of the kind of open spaces and colors and white spaces, it helps me to clear my mind and to focus on what's important, and especially more now that I have this very precious copy, this original 1970 copy. I'm just so blown away by this gorgeous gift. So thank you so much, Vanessa, again, if you're watching. Is another one I want to get buried with, because this would be so fun to read tarot for the ghosties in the afterlife. I can see this for me. Let's move on to another mass market deck that you can still get that is absolutely beautiful. We have the Klimt Tarot. This is a Los Scarabeo deck. I mentioned this in my original 2020 most beautiful decks video. I still consider this to be one of the most beautiful decks in my collection. Here are the backs. I've edged the sides in black, which I should really be redoing because I use this deck quite a bit, and the edges are starting to show some wear and tear. But this is, as the name suggests, a deck that is inspired by Klimt artwork, that represents a lot of Klimt artwork. This was not created by Klimt with the intention of it being a tarot deck, unlike the Dali Tarot, which was created by Dali as a tarot. This is actually repurposed artwork from Klimt that Los Scarabeo has turned into a tarot deck, and yet there's something so beautiful about this. I mean, you obviously have to be a fan of Klimt artwork to find this beautiful. So again, very, very personal, very, very biased. Some of you might not enjoy it, but for me, it's absolutely stunning. I love that they've added gold on this because it's so reminiscent to his paintings, and it's a stunning deck. I mean, look at this. So beautiful. And for a mass market deck, come on, you can't beat that. Look at this 10 of Pentacles. There's something so satisfying about the fact that all the pentacles also have different kind of engravings in them. True art deck, a true deck for art lovers. It feels like using this deck like you're taking a walk in the museum, and yet it does really function as a tarot deck, which I appreciate. Sometimes art decks are hard to read with, I will say. This one, no. This one, they've really done a good job here. I think they've done really great, because this is a perfectly functioning tarot deck. It just adds so much beauty and grace to your reading, so there you go. The star card is so beautiful, really precious. And like I was saying, this is mass market, it's fairly affordable, so if you want to treat yourself to a gorgeous art deck, this is one I really recommend. Speaking of mass market art decks that are so special, oh my god, I have to talk about the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg by Yuri Shakov. This is a US Games deck. It's mass market. You can still get this at the time of me filming. Truly one of the most special decks in my collection because of the story of it. And once you find out the story, you can't not find this special. So here are the backs. And why this deck is so special, so precious, and one of the most beautiful in my collection is because this is a deck that is created through the art of Russian miniature art, where everything was created by Yuri Shakov to size. So meaning that when he created this deck, the size of his paintings were the size of tarot cards, and so all the details that were added were literally done with tiny, tiny, tiny brushes. In the guidebook, it explains that some of the brushes are just one strand of hair. That's how thin they are, so that they can really get in there and make all the very, very small detail. Because look at that, look at the shoes, at the detail on the pentacle. Everything here is done to size, meaning that the artist took hours and hours and weeks and months and to create this deck. It's the work of a lifetime. It's hours and hours spent on a card with their arms in like things to hold their wrists, because they can't be moving, they can't shake, so they have to put their arms in like holding things. I don't know how you call that in English, but you know what I mean. To put them in braces, I think you call it, so that they can really focus on the tiny detail. And this is truly, yeah, it's the work of a lifetime. Sadly, the artist passed away, I think, just before the deck was released, or just before it was finished. I believe I read on a forum that they had only a card or two left, so they might have had to another artist to finish it. But it's really sad, because when you think that they've spent so much time of their life to create this and they couldn't be there to witness when it was released, it's a shame that this deck is not more shown. Sorely underrated, because for me, one of the most special decks that is available in mass market, for the history that it has, for how much work was gone into it, for what it represents as a particular art style, with this slice of culture we get, right, from Russian miniature artwork. It's truly unique and precious and so beautiful. I mean, come on, look at the detail on these cups. Yeah, it's really precious. And again, it works beautifully as a tarot deck. It's one I've gotten this year. I'm really not disappointed. It reads beautifully. I love the egg shape. It reminds me of the Fabergé eggs, and yeah, absolutely stunning. One point it was hard to get, and now it seems to be back in print, so I don't really know what's going on there, but I think it's still in print. Last time I checked, it was still available. So that's the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg by Yuri Shakov. We will finish with my last mass market deck I wanted to mention today. Obviously, I couldn't not mention it. We have the Mary L. Tarot. I have the first edition that I completely butchered with my scissors because I had this for years. At the time, I didn't know it was going to go out of print, and I really didn't like the borders. So I cut it all off very badly, and then I edged it very badly, and then I found out it was out of print and really hard to get that edition, that it had been replaced by a second edition. And you know what? I have zero regrets because I really made this deck my own and I freaking love it. So you can still get the Marielle Tarot. It's just that the edition now has changed in the sense of it's not the same cardstock now. It's matte, I believe, whereas my version was glossy, and they have changed a couple of the images in the new version, which is a real shame because I think the images in the first edition are way more powerful. However, they changed a couple, but truly, I mean, overall, it does not change how beautiful the deck is. What this video is about, and this is absolutely one of the most beautiful decks in my collection, another deck that took years and years, I believe 10 years for the creator to paint this. I think 10 years for her to create this, and you can tell every single card feels like an absolute piece of art, feels like you should be able to hang it on your wall. This has so much power and beauty. It's one that is not only beautiful in my opinion, but so powerful. One of the most deep, profound decks in my collection. I freaking love this. I don't read with this for anyone but me. I don't really think I would want to share it with this with anyone else. I've made such a special kind of connection with this one that I feel like it's one I would want to keep for me. But how gorgeous. And to this day, every time I use this, my first thought before anything else, before I think, wow, this is profound and wow, this reads beautifully, my first thought always is, wow, this is beautiful. Which is what this video really is about. This is a really special deck if you want to treat yourself to a not just a beautiful deck mass market, but also one that's going to challenge you, push you outside your comfort zone, make you think differently. It comes with a wonderful guidebook. It's very unique. It has almost its own system. It touches on a lot of different themes, mythology, Kabbalah, so much. I really recommend this one if you want something that's going to challenge you, push you outside your comfort zone. This is very special. Very special. So let's move on to indie decks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 indie decks I want to mention. Let's start with the deck I got this year that straight away was put in the category of most beautiful decks in my collection because truly this one is so special and so beautiful. Everything about it, production, quality, everything. Here we have the Dream of Nile Tarot. This is by Dreams Vision Tarot or Emma J. I backed this on Kickstarter last year, but I received my copy this year. This is one you can get on Emma's website, I believe. She's also the creator of the Dreams Vision Tarot, which I also love. But between the two, if I had to pick one most beautiful, I had to go with this because look at this. I mean, the box, the production, the guidebook is really cool. It opens like this, like papyrus style, and everything about this is just really stunning, so well thought out. So as soon as I received it, I was like, wow, this is quickly turning out to be one of the most beautiful decks I own. Obviously, you have to enjoy Egyptian mythology deck to find this beautiful, as you can guess. This is the theme of that deck, and this is a Thoth-inspired deck, so a bit different to my usual RWS preference, but I really could not pass this. I love mythological decks. I'm absolutely a huge fan of Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology. They are my go-tos. I love Emma's artwork. Her Dream Vision is absolutely stunning, and when I found out she was doing an Egyptian mythology deck, I was like, wow, I don't even care if it's Thoth, Marseille, whatever, I want it. And literally, I have zero regret. This is really stunning. It's great to read with. Like I said, normally Thoth is not my preferred system, but here it works for me. The guidebook is really good. The cardstock is linen, I think, so it's super easy to shuffle. We have some gold inlays on the cards, some gold accents, and yeah, even the minors, which are more pipish, are still so stunning, I think. I mean, look at this flower of life on the pentacles. We have the astrological association on each of the card, and I mean, my god, look at this star card, so beautiful. I think right now Emma is working on a Alice in Wonderland deck, which I will get also. I don't even like Alice in Wonderland that much, like it's okay, but it's not a story I feel super close to. But I mean, anything Emma does, I'm like, yep, sign me up. There are artists like that you just love their stuff, right? It doesn't matter what they would do, you're like, take my money, take my cash, I will support you. And she's definitely one of those artists. So yeah, love this one so much. A new addition to my collection this year. I mean, I've gotten it like super early, probably January or something of this year, so I've had it for a while. New in the sense of my tarot collection's years, I will say, and yet one that straight away jumped to most beautiful category, because wow, look at this, really stunning Egyptian mythology theme, the Dream of Nile Tarot. Gorgeous. Speaking of Egyptian mythology, I have to mention my other favorite Egyptian mythology deck ever, and it is this one, the Journey into Egypt Tarot by Julie Cuccia. What? This is an indie deck that when I got this 4 years ago now, I think, you could get it, or maybe 5, I don't remember. You could get this on Make playing cards, but you could also get this directly on Julie's website here. So I leave it here, the website, you can take a screenshot. Curious, I believe you can still get her decks printed there. She has done quite a few. I've got also her Ancestral Past Tarot Mass Market, which is another stunning one. I need to only pick one in this video, so we wouldn't be here for 5 hours. So for me, out of all of her decks, this is the most beautiful one, but honestly, her Ancestral Past Tarot, which is Mass Market, is also absolutely beautiful. Because I have a strong affinity for Egyptian mythology, I wanted to pick this one because I think so beautiful. Another absolutely gorgeous deck. Every time I use this deck, the first thought that comes to me before I even start shuffling the cards is, wow, how beautiful is this? Feels again that every card could be hanged in a museum. I know that is another deck that was worked on for years. You can feel how much work Julie has put into this. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, this might be my favorite High Priestess ever. It's so beautiful. The astrology is really interesting. It's what Julie calls real sky astrology, so looking at the sky stars instead of looking at traditional Western astrology. And I don't understand everything about it, but it has been very interesting to learn more of it through this deck. And if you like this deck but you're not sure if you want to invest into it, there is an app actually that you can get, and the app comes with the full guidebook, which is amazing. So if you wanted to, you could get the app and try it, see how you feel, and then you can, you know, get the deck. And I've been using the two consistently. I mean, look at this. Look at this, it's so beautiful. Yeah, truly stunning. I mean, again, you have to like Egyptian stuff to like this one, otherwise you're gonna be like, not for me. But this truly rocks my boat. I love this. Journey into Egypt Tarot, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is still available. Let's move on. Another absolutely stunning indie deck in my collection. We have to talk about the Alchemical Tarot Renewed by Robert M. Place. I mean, anything by Robert M. Place, stunning. I was telling you about Jean Bouchard, who is the French Robert M. Place, and for me they're on the similar vibe. I love this kind of art. Is that dog hair? Yeah, that is dog hair. That's the story of my life. This absolutely beautiful. If you like I would say decks that feel and look a little bit esoteric, that have this like older historical esoteric occult vibe, then you would really enjoy Robert M. Place artwork. Here are the backs, which are so stunning. One of my favorite backings I've seen in any deck. Just even the backs, you're like, wow, beautiful. And here is the artwork. So truly, this is one for all of my tarot lovers who love something that a little bit more occult, esoteric, a little bit more focused on symbolism, alchemical symbolism, obviously in this case. I know that there's another, I mean, Robert M. Place has done quite a few different decks. At the time of me filming, I've actually finally just ordered his Tarot of the Sevenfold Mysteries. I've been wanting that deck for ages, and I don't know why I never pulled the trigger, so I finally did. At the time of me filming this, I got this for myself as like a Christmas present from me to me. I know, I'm so nice to myself. I really love to treat myself. I always pick the right presents for me, at least. That I'm good at. We'll see if the Sevenfold Mystery will end up taking over as most beautiful of my Robert M. Place deck. Of this one, I'm not sure which one will win, but this is a beautiful deck. And not only that, it reads so well. Like, this is one of those decks that is so clear to me, specifically for career readings, career advice, anything like that, day-to-day practical kinds of readings. Oh my god, this is so good. It reads really, really, really well. This one wants to talk about money, about career, about practical things, and I love it for it. So really gorgeous deck. I mean, again, it's very subjective. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea, these kinds of occult decks, but for me, really beautiful. And I should have probably said in my intro that if you're new here, hi, my name is Marine and I'm a deck goblin. So my tarot tastes are so chaotic and eclectic. I like a lot of different things. You're gonna see that I like occult stuff like this, but I also love fantasy and things that are a lot more like fantastical and imaginative and things like that, which we're gonna get into. So there's bound to be a bit of everything here. You know, if you watch my videos, that yeah, I have very eclectic taste, as you're gonna see here. Let's move on actually. In a way to try and limit this video to not be too long, I thought, okay, let me pick one collage deck just to make it smaller. And if I had to pick most beautiful collage deck I think that I own is the Telesma Tarot. You can find on Etsy, I believe. Here is the name of the artist. So there you go. And it comes with a little guidebook, such as this one. This is another deck that is Thoth inspired, which, like I was saying earlier, not necessarily normally my preferred system, but honestly, when it looks like this, I have zero comments. My absolute favorite collage tarot deck ever. I have quite a few collage decks. It's an art style I really enjoy. I have some oracle decks, I have some tarot decks, but this, if I had to pick one, which I tried to limit this video, so like I said, we won't be here for 3 hours. I had to pick one, the Telesma Tarot wins. This was a sign, a sign, it would be a fire sign, it would be either an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. This was a Major Arcana, it would be a Magician deck. It's so bold and powerful and in your face, and it also holds a little bit the battler version of the Tarot de Marseille of the Magician, you know, a little bit more like show-offy, and one of my most beautiful, but also one of my favorite. I love to read with this one for myself, for others. Every time I pull it out, it's awesome. There's so many details here that you can pull into, that every time I look at these cards, I see something new. Really not everyone's cup of tea. I know a lot of people look at this and are like, whoa, I can't see what's going on, it's too much. I'm like, oh no, baby, this is just enough. I freaking love this. It's really unique when it comes to collage. Obviously, it's quite personal taste, isn't it? Some ones are gonna speak to us, some ones aren't. Sadly for my wallet, it seems a lot of them speak to me, but this one remains to this day my favorite, absolute favorite. I mean, look at this Three of Swords, it's so gorgeous. One I love to read with, for myself, for others. So beautiful for creative projects, for career reading, for spiritual readings. It does everything. This one is one for everything, I think. But it does hold that fire, very wands-like energy in its egregore. So it definitely infuses that in all of its readings, and I freaking love it. Let's continue to an oldie but a goodie. This is a deck I've had for, I think, probably 4 years, 5 years. I can't remember when this came out. I think it came out in 2020. Yeah, 2020. I have the first edition. This is the Shimmering Veil Tarot by Cilla Conway. I told you I have very eclectic taste. There you go. I like occult stuff, I like collage, I like modern, I like fantasy. I like everything, and my wallet is sad about that, but you know what? My tarot lover's heart, my deck goblin heart, is very much happy about it. This is definitely one of the most beautiful decks in my collection because the artwork is absolutely stunning. So here are the back. I feel like a lot of you are familiar with Cilla Conway decks. She has quite a few. She has some oracle decks. She has done a few tarot decks. I believe one is on gods, forgotten gods or something. I don't have that one. I think she's done another, the Byzantine tarot. There's quite a few. This is the only one of hers I have, because honestly I don't think any of her other ones could compete with this. Like, I love this so much that nothing can compete. And so I have never even tried to get another deck of hers because it's almost like it can match. Very intuitive deck. It's quite like raw in energy. It feels very spiritual. It feels like you're peeking through the veil, and the artwork feels like it's touching at your soul, you know? It's like you are having a direct conversation with spirit, God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it. This is truly a very unique yet powerful deck in its energy and in the artwork and in how it reads. My favorite decks for channeling when I want to connect to my guides, to you know, something, the energy higher than me. This is one of my go-to decks for that. I wouldn't really feel myself called to use this for day-to-day readings and practical matters. It doesn't really want to talk about that with me. Every time I try to go to this deck for practical readings, it kind of tells me of like, you silly little child, what are you talking about? You're just a pointless human being on a planet. We want to talk about larger life things. And you're like, okay, fine. Let me ask you, what's the meaning of life and what happens after death? And when I ask that, oh boy, it won't shut up. But it really picks and chooses the kind of readings it wants to discuss. And I can't blame it, because this really feels quite particular in its energy. It does feel like it was channeled, divinely channeled. Yeah, it's really special. So as you can see on the card, you don't even have the titles, you just have the number and the element, which I love, because it means more space for you to really get into the artwork. Really beautiful and really special. Energy in art style. I mean, look at this Two of Wands. One of my favorite Two of Wands ever. So beautiful. I love this one, the Shimmering Veil. I know I'm not the only one. This is a beloved deck in the community, and I'm so glad that it exists. So grateful for Sila's artwork. I have 3 more decks to talk about, and these 3 are new. So instead of me repeating a lot of the decks I had mentioned in my previous video from 2020 or 2021, whenever I did that, so that I would share with you some new additions to my collection that I got this year. I immediately thought belonged in my most beautiful deck category. And we have to talk about the Journey Tarot. Oh my god, you guys. This is absolutely stunning. I mean, just the box. The box in itself feels so beautiful. It feels like so pretty. It's almost too pretty to use, you know? There's decks like that. I mean, come on. How lucky are we that we live in a world where artists share their work, and not only do they share it, but we get to read with these cards, and not only do we get to hold their artwork, but we get to hold it and use it to ask questions about life and connect with other people and with our souls and with spirit. I mean, come on, we are so lucky. I know the world can feel like a trash can on fire sometimes, but there is also so much beauty and joy and hope and wonder in the world. And when you're using these beautiful decks, it reminds you that we're lucky to be here. We're lucky to have artists and poets who share their work with us, and we're lucky that we're able to support them. We're lucky that we're able to use these to tap into even something that has a deeper meaning. I mean, yeah, I'm just feeling so grateful when I use these decks. So grateful for these artists' talent, and as you can tell, this Journey Tarot is so beautiful. So it's back in order, because right now I'm doing a little deck study of this for myself, so I've put it back in order. I've read with this already, and it's a really unique deck. Another one that's TOS inspired, which is so funny, right? Because I'm definitely an RWS girly, yet a lot of my most beautiful decks are TOS inspired. And it's kind of weird, because I really don't like the TOS that much. I love the artwork from the TOS. I think it's gorgeous. Just don't really vibe with the Crowley's vibe. But all the TOS adjacent decks I have in my collection are masterpiece, and this is one of them. This feels very fantasy based. It feels like you're stepping into a magical world. It feels like every card you are pulling, you feel like you're reading a fantasy book, and it's taking you into a magical land, and you're meeting different characters. And I'm a huge fantasy lover, so all of this is so up my alley. I mean, this whole mushroom vibe, yes, I want to live there. Cottagecore, sign me up, let's escape through a portal, and yeah, I'm happy to live here now. I love this art style. Everything about this feels very luxe. The cardstock is delicious, the box is beautiful. Like I was saying to you, I'm not a cardstock snob, but when something is done well, I can see it, you know. I don't pay too much attention to production value, but when it feels luxurious as this, you can only notice how beautiful it feels. Very imaginative, very whimsical, and I freaking love this. Another newer deck that is straight away getting into my most beautiful category, have the Botan Tarot. I mean, this is truly absolutely gorgeous. Hey Miyako M, this is the second edition. I know this deck originally came out a few years ago, and then it came out of print, and this year it was reprinted, so I'm so grateful for that, because I managed to get my hands on it. Most beautiful backings ever, I think, or one of them, definitely top 3. I know I've said that about a lot of my decks, but top 3, right? Top 3 backings ever. So beautiful. This is a watercolor deck. It's a watercolor deck with a Japanese inspiration. I know it's very different from everything I've shared with you today, so obviously you can tell between the collage and the more classical art and the ones that are more bold and bright. I know I have very eclectic taste, but I find beauty in a lot of different ways. This is one that really touches my soul. I mean, look at this art style. I can't. The animals are beautiful, the colors are soft and gentle, the watercolor is so beautiful, and it gives that deck a really gentle, kind energy. It's one I'm using in November. I'm completely adoring it this month. I don't want to put it down. I've used it for other people and they've loved it. It's not just a beautiful deck, but it's also a joy to read with. It feels like a hug, feels like it whispers, doesn't shout. It's a gentle kind of friend, and this is my favorite card of the deck. Every time I share the deck with you guys, I'm like, look at this 3 of coins, it's so cute. But look at this 3 of coins, it's so cute. I can't. I love this. Feels very precious and gorgeous, and I love that there's a lot of animals in this deck, not just humans, so it's nice when I'm kind of sick of humans. It has a good balance of animals and people. The court cards are all gorgeous. Everyone is so beautiful in this deck. The artwork is beautiful, but the people are beautiful too. I think this is another one that when I use it, the first thought that comes to mind is, wow, this is beautiful. And then using it feels like a gift. Feels like a gift that we're able to hold these artists' work in our hand, that we're able to read people's tarot with this, that we're able to tap into people's souls and our own with this. So lucky, right? Tarot is awesome. Tarot is awesome, you guys. I freaking love it. And I'm just so grateful for all of these gorgeous decks and all of this artwork, and it's just so precious. Look at this king of coins. So beautiful. I want that cape. I would rock that cape to go to the supermarket, but yeah, I would love that. Anyway, let's move on to my last deck. So that's the Botan Tarot, and let's move on to the last deck of today's video. I'm trying to keep this not too long, but in terms of newer decks to my collection that I feel are part of my most beautiful decks, we have to talk about the Slavic Legends Tarot by Taroteka Studio, another indie deck. Oh my god, you guys, this is absolutely stunning. I mean, look, first that box, it looks like a book, it's so beautiful. Again, another one, that production quality, 10 out of 10. I know I don't pay too much attention to it, but it's like I said, when it's good, it's good. And even I can see it. So it doesn't come with a guidebook, but you can get a PDF, which one of you told me about, so thank you so much. I mean, look at this. Straight away, we're on my favorite card. I freaking love this hermit so much. Stunning deck. It is of Slavic inspiration, so it mentions a lot of folklore and lore, but it also gives a very magical forest vibes. And whilst I'm not very familiar with many of these stories here, I have found myself having no issue at all using this deck, because intuitively it's still very easy to use. It an RWS, but the artwork just gives you so much intuitively to go off. It feels very magical. Even as someone like me who's not necessarily super familiar with the lore, I've had no problem enjoying using this. Then it's another one of those that as soon as I use it, my first instinct is wow. I mean, look at this Four of Swords. Look at the Queen of Cups. I can't. It's just so beautiful. So I had to mention it in my most beautiful decks 2024 because it's truly a stunning deck. I have and love their Dark Mansion. It's a deck I find really beautiful, but I think this is even better. In the beautiful sense, in the sense of aesthetically pleasing, this is better. The Dark Mansion is a deck I freaking love, and I use it for everything, so this is not better in the reading sense. I still think the Dark Mansion is closer to my heart. In the aesthetically pleasing gorgeousness status, and I think this is definitely at the top of the list. The favorite card of the deck. I love this Temperance so much. So yeah, I had to mention this one. We're gonna finish on this one because I'm starting to flare up. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you so much for sticking around. If you've made it this far, please leave a little elephant emoji in honor of my little friend here that accompanied us today for the reading. So leave a little elephant emoji in the comments if you're still here to this point. It will make me super happy knowing you stick till the end of the video. Now I want to hear from you. Please let me know what are the most beautiful tarot decks in your shelves in your collections? What do you think is the most beautiful tarot deck you own? I'd love to know. We can chat in the comments. I love reading you. And until my next video, I just want to say a huge thank you for being here, spending time with me. I'm sending you so much good vibes, and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!